Her name is Velma. Velmar.
It's a tough last name.
Yeah, I've got it here though. Let's see. Well, I thought I had it here, but she is a Velmar Karanja, and hey, she had 12 points and 22 rebounds. And what they do, they get offensive rebounds. They get second and third shots. I've never seen a team in a long time, boys or girls, go to the boards like this Troy team does.
I've got their roster if you want me to call it out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, number 0 is a Amelia Rosario.
Where's she from?
Bronx, New York, 5'6". Dominique Camp is from Dayton, Ohio.
This is Troy's
Troy.
where they
She's
come
a
from.
5'9" guard. At forward, 6'1", Felmas Karanga. She's from Nakuru, Kenya.
Oh, yeah.
From
Go
Tyler
ahead.
Junior College.
Now go ahead and put a star by her name, and she's from
Kenya.
Kenya.
Augustina Talamosivov. She's from Spain. She's 5'9". She's a forward. And forgive me on those pronunciations. You got a guard 5'6", Jasmine Robinson from Augusta, Georgia.
She's the All-American, everything from Augusta, Georgia.
Jasmine Robinson.
Oh, okay.
Forward at 6 foot, Taisha Moore from Washington, D.C.
Well, they come from everywhere, don't they?
They're all over the place.
Yep. Guard 5'7", Janaya Sandifer from Nashville, Tennessee. 5'9" guard, Janaya Ellis from Thomasville, Georgia. Guard 5'10", Taya Johnson from Phoenix City, Alabama.
She's a good one.
From Central High School. She also played at Shelton State. At forward, 6'2", Jalea Dunlap from Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay,
6'2".
she's a great rebounder.
She transferred in from Ole Miss. Sharonica Hartsfield, guard, 5'5", from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Oh, gosh.
Jalicia Reese, guard, 5'9", from Cordell, Georgia.
Okay, that's South Georgia.
6 foot. Alexis Dye from Birmingham, Alabama, from Winona High School.
There's your. Hey, she went
Alexis,
to. Now I know the rest of the story, Mike. She went to Winona.
Yeah, isn't that crazy that we get a girl from Winona, but none of the Charles Simpson girls?
And none of the Charles Simpson girls are coming to Troy. They get the top player, and she's an All-American. She's a great player.
Here's your coaching staff, of course. Chandra Rigby, Coach of the Year in the world.
Yeah.
Is
there any way we can put her name on the court? She's been in the NCAA tournament 3 times.
Rigby.
It's going to be Maestri Rigby Court.
That's right. I agree with you.
The associate head coach is Jennifer Graff. The assistant coach, recruiting coordinator, Courtney Simmons. The assistant coach, Neil Harrow.
Now he's a young man from overseas.
He's from Great Britain. He's been on our show before.
Yeah, I know. Good guy.
The director of basketball operations, Janae Fontaine. I like that name, Fontaine.
Yeah.
Student manager, Alexis Beverly. Student manager, Josh Snowden. But those girls are from all over the world.
And congratulations on a huge, huge win last night. You know, Louisiana coming into the game, Mike, had won 15 straight. And Troy, I think, had won 7 straight or 9 straight, something like that.
You know, I was watching that game, and I said to myself, man, I really have cheated myself not watching girls basketball more. They were really fun to watch.
And the thing, and
I
they
really,
shot.
I really enjoyed it. I was like, shame on me. I was like, here she is, has this unbelievable program. She won 24 games last year. And that's actually all she talked about, is how the seniors last year, you know, it broke their hearts so that they could compete and go to the NCAA tournament, and that a lot of these players were playing for them.
I tell you, Coach, if you're watching today, this morning, let me tell you, I'm going to that wherever they are. I'm going. I want to watch this team play, and they can shoot. This bunch can shoot. I bet the boys wish they could shoot like this. They could shoot free throws. Hey, they did that. and then they got the offensive boards 1, 2, 3. Sometimes the guy had 3 shots at goals, and even sometimes 4 shots because they hit the boards, and that's what she specializes in. She coaches that. And overall, the other coaches on the staff, she coaches the offensive rebounding, and boy, you could tell the difference.
Well, Michael, they went in double overtime.
Neil Harrow's from Scotland. I would imagine being from Scotland and Great Britain.
Yeah, he's the one. He's the one. Yeah, and he's a great recruiter too.
You know, they went in double overtime against Coastal Carolina and outscored them probably 14 points. The final was 103 to 89, but they went in overtime, double overtime, or at least one overtime, when the first game of the tournament, I believe.
Exactly, and I tell you again, Alexis Dye, she is a great player, and she's an All-American. There's no question in my mind. And Bill and the Karanja
she'd be an interesting guest to interview because she played at Winona, so she had to play against all those great Charles Henderson.
Oh yeah, exactly. She would be a great one too.
And her coach passed away, Emmanuel Bell. That was so well respected. That was at Winona.
The selection show is Monday at 7:00, March 15th. Monday, March 15th. There'll be a field of 64, and the tournament will be played in its entirety in San Antonio, Texas, in 2 or 3 different sites, I believe. The first round is going to be March 21st and 22nd.
Well, I tell you what, hopefully...
Di averages 16 points a game and 12 rebounds a game.
She is a All-American. There's no question about it. And, my hat's off to Coach Rigby. Gosh, what a great job she's done. Consistency. I mean, each year she's going to have a team that can shoot it and can rebound it. And, when they had to shoot the 3, they hit the 3. When they went to the boards, hey, listen, what would you rather do? Go to the boards with 3 or 4 people every time down and get 3 and 4 shots at the goal inside the perimeter 2 and 3 feet. Don't you think that is percentage-wise the way to go, other than the 3-pointer?
Yeah, if I was a high school basketball coach or middle school, whatever, I believe I'd ask permission just to sit in the gym and just watch.
Yeah.
Or practice.
Exactly.
Because that's how you learn. You learn from the best, and
that's right.
Chandra Rigby is one of the best in the country.
And how she teaches those kids to go to the boards, and I mean, they go with they're aggressive too. I mean, they don't mess around, and of course, it's
gonna be interesting to see what happens. This is 3 NCAA tournaments, and of course, last year she wins 24 games, and COVID happens, and then we mentioned yesterday. Forrest mentioned Auburn job is now open. I mean, you got to think that she would be a serious candidate. I don't know how she couldn't be. What she's accomplished at Troy. I don't know what will happen there, but it'll be interesting because the NCAA tournament for the actual women doesn't start until 12 days.
I know it. That is unusual. The difference in the starts there, and but you think about it.
If you can win at Troy, you can win at Auburn.
Oh yeah.
I think this team is going to make some noise in the big dance, and they're dancing. Going to be dancing in.
They never have.
San
When
Antonio.
they've gotten to the NCAA tournament, they've been beat by 30 points most times. We talk about it all the time. The play of women's college basketball, the elite teams, the ranked teams, compared to the non-Power 5 teams, is such a drastic difference. Troy's never really played anybody close. I hope maybe this will be the year. They seem really athletic.
Yeah,
but,
they really do. And
they played Oregon. They played Oregon State one time, I remember, and just got beat by 40 or 50. They played Mississippi State one time, got beat by 40 or 50. I mean, you hope that they can play competitive against somebody.
Mike, when you said Oregon, it rang a bell. The quarterback from Gordo has committed to Oregon. And his granddaddy played at Alabama.
The kid from
Yeah,
Gordo,
but-
Alabama, has
And
committed
he had
to.
some kinfolks played at Auburn. I can't remember his
I
name.
mean, there's got to be some Mario Cristobal like relationship to send a kid from Gordo, Alabama to Eugene, Oregon.
I know.
Maybe it's the green.
He had offers from Auburn and Alabama.
Oh, me.
Maybe it's the green. All those colors. Just
You know, I want to say Gordo is a 1A or a 2A.
like the two.
They're 4A now.
They're 4A now?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Are you sure?
I think so.
That's
I think they go to
surprising.
the 4A.
Yeah. Of course, we've got
They're
a
the 4A or 3A.
yeah, got a ton of basketball.
I'll say this though, that kid is absolutely destroying his parents and his family and all his friends' opportunities to see him play. How in the world they expect to go to Eugene,
Oh
Oregon and see all his home games? It's like going across. I mean, I lived out in Oregon. I felt like I lived in another country.
yeah. Oh boy.
I mean, that's how far away I felt like I was from my family.
Yeah, exactly.
He played in the state championship. Was like 16 of 21, 2 touchdowns, and I forgot who beat Gordo. I read it in the paper when I read the article. But anyway.
Of course, we appreciate our good friends at Troy Bank and Trust Company. Remember, Troy Bank and Trust Company is the only bank you'll ever need. And of course, my good friends there, and of course, with their banks now with something like 14 locations to choose from in different communities, and we appreciate it very much. In fact, Mike, can you name me a few of those banks?
Let's see. You got, I guess, 3 in Troy, 2 in Brundage, New Brockton, Enterprise. Maybe there's not one in Enterprise.
Yeah, there's one in Enterprise.
Not one in Ozark. That's right.
Yeah,
then
there's
you
not
got,
one in Ozark.
Arrington,
Yep.
Goshen, Montgomery, Dothan.
No, you don't.
Auburn.
You don't have one in Montgomery, Mike.
Oh, you don't have one. Okay, Auburn, Dothan,
2 in Dothan. I think.
2 in Dothan, isn't there?
and then maybe, I don't know. Did I say New Brockton?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
The flood.
That's right, Elba.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, but I think
So
that's got
there are 14 locations to choose from. Let's see, that'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 locations of Troy Bank and Trust Company that you can see. Of course, we got several big high school games going on, and after watching that pitching performance last night, and with a guy like Henry coming in there in relief and throwing strikes, everything through was a strike. Hey, listen, you either got to hit it or go down swinging.
I tell you, the fun thing when I was able to watch some basketball this year, and you see the baseball team, and you think, golly, that kid has grown up. And it's fun watching them, because I had them, a lot of these kids when I was at the elementary school.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And some, maybe 1 or 2 when I was at the middle school my last year, but to see them progress and get better, and I taught Chase, and I taught Chase and Taylor, and taught with Debbie. I was a Blues Brothers when Mark won the national championship. I was dressed as a Blues Brother in that game, so it's kind of a neat story, the smarts.
Well,
Michael,
I know you got a lot of baseball and softball coming up.
doesn't Troy play Alabama one day this week?
No, they play Sanford. They play Sanford tonight in a doubleheader.
Okay.
And then the Lady Trojans play Auburn. But I've got the men's schedule. I'll tell you when we play.
Boy, it'd be great if Auburn came in and pitched Yarborough against Troy.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Of course, she's their ace, though. I think they've only lost 1 game.
She's Auburn's ace.
I hadn't seen her pitch but 1 game. I mean, I can look up.
She was 7 or 8-0 with like a under 1 ERA last year.
I think
Yeah.
they're
I wonder
pitching.
if she's injured.
Either that or they're pitching some freshmen to get them some experience, and then they'll throw her. I'll look it up.
I noticed that her dad has moved to. She moved to many different locations to get settled at a spot where she wanted to be, and of course
she went to South Alabama because I had a relationship with the coach, and then coach got fired, and I never understood. I always thought she could have played in the SEC, and obviously she could. she proved it last year.
South Alabama beat Auburn in softball, 1-0.
Yesterday?
Oh, wow.
They did. It was in the paper yesterday. Yesterday, 1-0. They had a sensational performance from a pitcher. Auburn's 15-1, and I was going to see if I could pull up the stats. I know Samantha's won one particular game.
Well, I ain't going to hear this.
Alabama is now 6th in basketball, ranked number 6. So there's still an outside chance they can get a number 1 seed.
Mike,
they win the SEC tournament.
I want you to hear this, Mike. Today, from wherever this place is, Pike Liberal Arts is playing at Ezekiel Academy. Now, where in the world is Ezekiel Academy? And Pike Liberal plays at Ezekiel starting at 4 p.m. They just throw these teams in. They just throw. I mean, that's just how stable this Alabama Independent School deal is. Evidently, they just made up this team's name, Ezekiel, and they're playing Pike today.
I don't know where they're located.
Montgomery.
They're located in Georgia?
Montgomery.
Ezekiel is located in Montgomery. Well,
why did they? I never heard of them during football season. Maybe they don't play football.
I don't believe they play a lot of sports, to tell you the truth. I'm not bad for me. With Elba's at GW Long today. Florella is at Kinston, Macon East at Abbeville. Just a few. Goshen's playing at Highland Home today in softball, girls softball, and Andalusia is playing at Op at 5 today. So that's a few of the games out there.
Nobody's seen Troy practice football, I guess, and now they're on spring break. Is that
they practiced 3 days, and then they went on spring break, and then they'll be back full swing next week.
Samantha is 1-1 on the season. She's been in 3 appearances, but she's 1-1 on the season for Auburn, and they've got a freshman pitcher that I think is like their ace right currently, but maybe we'll get to see her play.
If you're enjoying this is the old course at St. Andrews that I'm wearing today, and it came from St. Andrews, and I thought it would just be sort of unique to wear today, and of course, we're talking about
Les Miles is out at Kansas. So
now, what happened? What did he do wrong? What did he do wrong?
Where in the world is Kansas' turn now? Is Chip Lindsey a top candidate?
I don't know. I bet he would take it if he got it. We got a chance to coach there.
It's all predicated on what happened at LSU. Some allegations. Both involving him, and then another allegations of some players who they did not handle appropriately on some claims.
Yeah,
you just have to read the paper. Also,
won't they bring the big 500-pounder back, Mangino? He's a good head coach.
Oh gosh,
Mike, have you studied up on what Rush Prosp? And there is a recording.
Oh yeah, that guy is just a lying piece of
I don't believe you need to talk like that about anybody.
I mean, he's in trouble, so now he's trying to throw Kirby Smart and Nick Saban under the bus.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's in Alabama.com.
The guy's in trouble. He's about to lose his job. I mean, and now he's trying to talk about recruiting violations. He was going back to Bear Bryant days.
Oh man,
in Alabama. I mean, it's insane. I mean,
it's not even worth compensation. I don't, not on this show.
I I know, but I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, look at his background and look at what he's gotten into in his life. I mean, it's public knowledge, and now he's trying to throw people under the bus on the way out the door.
Yeah, I know it.
How about Dak
I don't
Prescott?
I don't believe a word he says.
Yeah.
Dak
Yeah,
Prescott.
hey, yeah, bless his heart. Hey, don't feel sorry for Zach Prescott anymore. He just signed a 3 or 4 year deal of worth $40 million a year.
$126 million guaranteed.
Oh boy.
Shazam!
Oh,
He's not that good of a quarterback, though. I mean,
He's hurt.
I don't see why you could even try to put that kind of money down on somebody like that. I mean, I like him. I used to watch him a lot when he was at Mississippi State. I'm a Dallas fan, but I watched more than enough games. Dallas loses more close games than any team I've ever seen.
Is it an Achilles tendon injury or is it a knee injury that he suffered?
I think it was his knee.
Okay. I know.
But I mean, he's a guy. He's a guy that's probably, I'd probably say that maybe top 10 of quarterbacks in the NFL. But I mean, not even close to being top 5. And he's now getting $120 million guaranteed. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. He waited and waited. Now, he went a long time without getting big money, Mike.
Well, he was a 4th round pick. That's what happened. You know, the contracts. You know, you play out your first 4 or 5 years, and that's how they get you then. But then if you're successful, and obviously he was successful enough to get a big contract.
Of course, we got a lot to talk about, including Troy basketball, as we're still talking about Troy's big win over Louisiana last night. Louisiana came into the game.
That was great. That was great coverage yesterday. They were with the team, watching them celebrate for a long time after the game was over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was very impressed. You know, they had confetti that they came out with, and this Velma Karanja was just outstanding last night, along with Alexis Dye and the rest of the Trojans. And again, a great honor, not only for her coaching ability, but just the way she runs her program. I just don't think we can get any better than what we got at Troy. I hope she stays, you know.
Yes, sir.
You got to hear this. This is very interesting. So Kevin Steele went to Tennessee when Pruitt was still on the staff, and when Pruitt got relieved, he got hired as the interim head coach. So they bring in Danny White from Central Florida, and then Central Florida, of course, coach Josh Heupel follows. But Josh Heupel decides not to keep Kevin Steele. So Kevin Steele was on the job at Tennessee for less than 2 months, and they still are going to honor his contract of $900,000, even though he's no longer with the program.
Yeah.
This guy is making so much money from Auburn and now Tennessee. I mean, he's got to retire.
He's laughing all the way to the bank, isn't he?
I mean, seriously, he made $900,000 for 2 months of work.
Yeah.
Plus what he's got, what he's going to get from Auburn.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he made $2.5 million at Auburn. This guy's not even a head coach.
Yeah. That's amazing. It really is.
I mean, college football is absolutely insane. Like, you wonder why Rigby wouldn't want. I mean, you got to take the Auburn coaching job if you got offered. Neil Brown had no choice.
Yeah.
You had to take West Virginia. It's $3.5 million.
Yeah,
he was making $800,000 in Troy. I mean,
which is huge for Troy, you know.
You know, I wonder
Cornelius Williams is at Auburn now as a receivers coach. He probably made, I don't know, maybe $120,000 in Troy.
Yeah, if he made that much.
I saw Zach Etheridge's mother and father in Bird's Drugs the other day. Oh, they were. I walked in, they started grinning. I knew what I said. Y'all happy? They're so tickled that Zach is at Auburn University.
Yeah, is he a full-time coach there
yes,
now?
Yes, sir. Defensive back.
Oh, yeah, secondary coach.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That's amazing.
And,
I mean, you got to feel so happy for these guys.
Oh, yeah.
They're winning the lottery.
It's like, when I saw him, I said, it's like a big puzzle. The Lord's putting together puzzles for Zach, for Mike Amos, for Michael Amos, and where laying on top of that player, the Lord had a plan for Zach Etheridge.
Yeah.
And he full circle, and he's at Auburn, and what's the next step going to be? But he.
Well, nobody deserves it more than him. He broke his neck at Auburn, and then came back and played and won the national championship. Nobody gave their body to Auburn more than he did.
Team captain.
Exactly.
Heart, soul. I've got chill bumps right now.
Well, you know, and of course that somebody would have started calling him Zach, but for years he was Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus.
And I started calling him Zach on our telecast of Charles Simpson games, and thank goodness they started calling him Zach.
Well, didn't his senior year they ran him a little bit, and didn't they put him at running back?
Oh yeah.
Hey, if I got a stud bucket,
he was a very good athlete, no question about it.
He's got to be one of the greatest college players ever to lead Charles Simpson. I mean, what he did in college, you know, Stink Day, of course, we talked about it for years and years, got under Bowden, and I think he started at fullback and played, you know, but Zacchaeus Evers was, 2-3 year starter?
Oh, yeah, he was very good, very good. We're going to go to break right now. Of course, this show is brought to you by our wonderful, wonderful people at Bird Drugs. And, of course, we want to say hello to Joe and all the folks downtown, and they're serving breakfast as we speak. And also from Circle Insurance, my good friend Sam Judah. And, they've got one of the best plans you'll find anywhere. And of course, you know, the thing about it, they're a strong local insurance agency, one of the best in town, and we appreciate them very much.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Debbie, I'm right here. Hello, Miss Mary. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here. Thank you.
Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
Here we go.
Troy is headed back to the NCAA women's basketball tournament for the third time in the last 5 years, and that is the talk of the town as they defeated Louisiana Lafayette 73-65 Monday afternoon in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game at Pensacola's Bay Center. And Troy 22-5 improved to 3-0 all time in the Sun Belt Tournament Championship game, with 2 of those victories coming over Louisiana. The Trojans also beat the Raging Cajuns to win the 2017 Sun Belt title. Troy will make its 4th overall NCAA tournament appearance and their 3rd as the Sun Belt Conference champion. And boy, what a tremendous effort! If you watch basketball much, they're going to have to take this game and they're going to have to show it back to kids all over this country. They could get a hold of this tape and show them that, hey, how important offensive rebounds are. Now, it's great to get to get rebounds and hold a team to just one shot, and but when you get 3 shots at the bucket, time and time and time, over and over and over again, you're getting 2 and at least 3 shots at the bucket. You can't get beat that way. I mean, hey, and we're talking about from 2 and 3 feet away. I mean, they were, what I'm saying, they were putbacks.
And Louisiana Lafayette was the Sun Belt Conference regular season champion, correct?
Oh, they had won 15 straight.
I mean, it actually wasn't fair though, because they only had to play 14 games. Troy played 17 games, so it was a COVID issue. And I'm surprised Coach Rigby and her staff didn't complain about that to the conference. I mean, how is it fair that they play 14 and they play 17?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how those games were made up. I don't know what the issue was.
Probably time constraints.
Appalachian State wins the men's Sun Belt Conference tournament. They won 4 games at Pensacola and beat a really, really good Georgia State team last night by about 8 or 9. So great job by Appalachian State. They'll represent the Sun Belt in the NCAA tournament. And that's a team that Troy beat 3 times.
Yeah.
And Troy was awful.
And Troy was awful. Well, let's just say this. As far as Coastal Carolina is concerned, Troy was awful. Coastal Carolina played Troy 5 times. 5 times this season and lost every game.
That's hard to believe.
That's hard to believe. And, of course, now Coach Cross did beat his old team.
Cliff Ellis is a legend, though, a legendary coach, and he must have had something on Troy that he had on film and had the athletes. And must have been some kind of mismatch. I would imagine.
You know what? If I could get his phone number, I'd like to call him.
I would imagine it was the guard play, because Troy's guard play was so inconsistent all year.
And don't get me wrong, I want Coach Cross to be very successful. I like him as a guy, and I want him to be successful at what he does. But hey, you got to find a way not to lose to one team 5 times. And evidently, it was just a tremendous.
Well, the big thing with Troy though is, I don't know if you look at their schedule this year and their losses. Man, they lost so many just like blowout games. I mean, they must have lost. Well, they lost 17 games, but they must have been 10. Double figures, 20 points. I mean, I still am just sick watching the image of them playing Auburn this year on national TV. That was just so hard to watch. What did they have, 15 points at the half?
Yeah.
Or something? I mean,
That's
that game and that image of how, and the Auburn finished 13 and 14. Of course, that was before they had Cooper, but I mean, is that big of a level difference between Auburn basketball and Troy?
I know.
I mean, that was just a 45-point win.
Well, you're exactly right.
It was a very, very tough season to watch.
And something that just really bothers me so much, Troy lost 17 games. They lost 17 games. Let me tell you this. I sit down and say, Coach, we love you. Man, everybody just thinks the world of you. But, hey, you need to win some basketball games.
Well, you lost 22 your first year, so it's an improvement.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they lost by 23 to University of North Carolina. I guess that's Wesleyan. Texas Tech 80, Troy 46. UAB 77, Troy 55. Then you had Auburn 77, Troy 41.
41 points.
Yeah. Appalachian State 90, Troy 59. These are the losses. Coastal 90.
Wait a minute. Appalachian State beat Troy how bad?
90 to 59.
90 to 59.
Troy had beat them the day before by 15. How did that happen?
Yeah, I know.
They did. They beat them by 13.
Well,
13. Yeah, 13. 15.
I'm just saying. I mean, a lot of really big blowouts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's reading them off. It's obvious.
Yeah.
What do you think about this coach, Mike?
Well, he's
a nicer guy and as pretty a guy as you're gonna meet.
A proven winner at Texas Arlington. I mean, he was there 12 years. I think he went to the NCAA tournament only once, from the NIT a couple times, but he won, I think, 20 games, maybe 6 times. I mean, I thought this was maybe the greatest slam dunk hire we ever could have had. far as experience at a school in the Sun Belt, and maybe it's just that hard to win at Troy in basketball.
Well, if I'm the athletic director, if I'm a decent athletic director, I tell him, I said, hey, coach, you got to win this year.
The internal,
I really mean
something had to be internally.
You got to win in football this year too.
Well, I mean, all right, so
the men's sports in Troy are struggling.
You mean what kind of grade would you give Chip Lindsey right now? To the head football coach at Troy, Chip Lindsey.
Coming off 10 wins, 11 wins, and 10 wins under Neil Brown, and to go 5-7 and 5-6, I would say C minus.
C minus, a C minus grade right now. I agree with you.
I don't know how you couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we've been there and done that. Forrest, you grew up in Goshen. You've watched Troy all your life. Dad's been watching Troy for, I don't know, 65 years, probably going to games, maybe 70. I've been going all my life because I had no choice. I mean, I've been there and done that. I've been through Bradshaw. I've been through Gailey. I've been through Rhodes. I've been through Maddox. Thank God I went through Larry Blakeney. I went through an unbelievable Neil Brown run. I mean, I think they need to put a statue up to Neil Brown. Now we got, what Lindsey's doing. So, I mean, it's not like I don't know the program. I mean, when you hear it from me and you hear it from Dad, you hear it from Forrest or anybody, we know the program, and you just have, higher expectations.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And, let me tell you this. Right now, there's no question, Forrest, that, Appalachian State's better. Coastal Carolina is better, even though we played them real tough, Appalachian, go ahead and help me a little bit here. Lafayette's better.
South Alabama.
South Alabama's not better right now.
And in basketball.
What now, Mike?
I mean, the teams that are better in football right now are Appalachian State, Coastal Carolina, for sure Lafayette. You would have to say Georgia State. They beat Troy 3 years in a row.
App State. Did you mention App State?
Yeah, App State we mentioned. Georgia Southern, Troy beat 3 years in a row, but lost this year to Georgia Southern. So, and then normally Arkansas State.
Yeah, normally every year, yeah.
So, I mean, Troy's probably 5th or 6th best team maybe in the conference right now.
Yeah. I'm looking at this guy on the headlines of the Dothan paper, and he's sure a pretty guy at Auburn, Brian Harsin.
Brian Harsin.
And he's got Arkansas State written all over him, doesn't he?
He beat Troy 3 times. He beat him at Arkansas State, and then he beat him twice at Boise.
I mean, this guy and Auburn felt like this guy at Arkansas State, and that was his bread and butter for a long time.
No, he only coached at Arkansas State 1 year, and then he coached at Boise. He was a Boise head coach.
Okay, I know he was Boise head coach, but he was only there only 1 year.
Yeah, he was the co-offense coordinator of Texas, and he got the head job at Arkansas State. He won the league his 1 year there.
Yeah. I think he's going to do a great job at Auburn. He's got the demeanor. He's a good-looking, sharp guy, and Auburn
he
folks.
He had a great staff.
Yeah. Here you are. You bring in Harsin, and you bring in. He put together a staff and whatever. But the guy that was there before them. I mean, was it really worth them to pay him $17 million to leave Auburn? I mean, had he broken any rules or anything, or had he?
I tell you what, he beat Alabama 3 times.
Beat Alabama 3 times, and what I'm saying, and everybody's used to getting beat by Alabama, and but really, was it worth the money? Was it worth the money to run that guy off and bring in this guy that was at Boise? And being at Boise don't make you an automatic winner, I promise you.
I mean, Jimmy Rain is a billionaire.
Yeah, that's what happened.
You put together some other close to being billionaires that are Auburn alumni, and it's pretty easy to buy somebody else.
I wonder if our buddy is in the construction business up in Birmingham. Do you think he cares anything about football?
Miller Gorey?
Yeah. Yeah, Miller Gorey's worth for a little bit of money.
I see him in about every restaurant I go to when I'm in Mountain Brook.
Yeah.
They're always out to dinner.
They're very nice people. And the smart thing about Miller Gorey, he married a Troy girl. Troy girl.
Yeah, Troy University had the 7th best record in football.
The what?
The 7th best record in the Sun Belt Conference.
Oh,
yeah.
They were like number 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Coastal.
So who are the teams ahead of them?
All right, Coastal 8-0. Louisiana was 7-1. Appalachian State 6-2. Georgia Southern 4-4. Georgia State 4-4. South Alabama 12. Troy 3-4. South Alabama 3-5. So they were the 6th best team in the conference.
And everything I hear.
I will say Troy had a horrible break not playing La Monroe at the end of the season. La Monroe's COVID issues, and they fired their coach. Troy would have been 6-6. We all know that.
And probably would have got a bowl game.
No, the Sun Belt didn't have enough bowl tie-ins, so when they lost to Coastal, that was it on the bowls.
Did they?
Arkansas
Sun Belt Conference came out and said,
Yeah, Arkansas State and Texas State were 2-6, and Louisiana Monroe was 0-7 in the conference.
And I tell you what, if you ask me who year in and year out is as competitive as anybody, I would say Arkansas State. Arkansas State is a good program, even though Troy went in there and beat them bad.
beat them bad with a kid from Brantley.
Yeah, beat them a kid from Titletown.
Yeah, that's one thing he can always say. He threw for 420 yards and won at Arkansas State.
I saw that kid from Arkansas. From Brantley.
I wonder if he can still pitch.
I saw him last night, and he is a good-looking athlete. He's a big, tall kid, and he played shortstop. They didn't pitch him. They could have pitched him and maybe won the game. But they didn't pitch him last night.
Blake Anderson, has left Arkansas State, though. He's at Utah State now under Hartwell.
And Hartwell knew where to go to get a coach, didn't he?
Yeah. And now we got the great Butch Jones, the former Tennessee coach, Central Michigan coach, Cincinnati coach, is now at Arkansas State.
Yeah.
Terry Bowden at Monroe.
Exactly right. I'm hoping that when they get back from their break, and of course I'm sure the coaches will probably be looking at film throughout the break, I hope, and when they get back and resume their spring practice, I hope they'll come back with the knowledge that, hey, we don't want this. We want our team to be competitive. Right now we're not competitive.
What happened with Troy's NFL pipeline? I mean, there has not been a kid drafted from Troy University in football in at least 5 or 6 years. I mean, there used to be a kid every year that would get drafted. It's kind of hard to believe. And Neil Brown had a lot of talented players, but none of these guys are getting drafted.
Well, Richard Shaughnessy, he's
no longer the strength coach. He hadn't been the strength coach since Brown got there.
Yeah.
Richard Shaughnessy.
You're exactly right. Richard Shaughnessy had a real good rapport with the pro scouts.
Richard Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
The guru.
Well, that is one thing that is a telling sign, though, as far as talent has dropped off. But Brown won with really good players, I felt like, but nobody ever got drafted.
Well, there still has to be a lot of talent in the transfer portal. But there again, do you have the recruiters to go after them, or do they want to come to Troy? Yeah. I was reading where the Clemson has a cornerback that everybody wants. He was a 5-star. I don't know his name, but that one of the big dogs will get him. Yeah. He's a well-known.
Well, you mean the guy that's leaving?
He's leaving Clemson. He's a defensive back.
Yeah. Well, the way
that's the thing with Auburn. I feel like they should try to bring the transfer in and push Nix. Yeah. I mean, Nix was so bad last year. He was so much better his freshman year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel comfortable as an Auburn fan, with Nix as my quarterback.
You know, I would think it's almost like it's a political matter. I mean, are they playing the best player? You know,
it's almost because of his dad.
Yeah,
his dad wasn't a great player. Wasn't like he was an All-American.
No,
he was a good player.
Yeah.
But I mean, he wasn't Cam Newton. He wasn't Pat Sullivan.
Yeah.
Would it be the trenches? Were the trenches big enough to protect
that's right.
him or anybody else?
Well,
they had a brand new starting offensive line. You're right about that.
And they've got. Let me tell you, they're right now. Excuse my language because I use it too much here. But right now, their staff looks pretty. They look real pretty out there. You know, everybody talks.
He put together great.
They've got the Vanderbilt head coach, and they got the who else?
They got Mike Bobo.
Mike Bobo, a former what was his
head coach of Colorado State.
Colorado State.
Offense coordinator Georgia. Offense coordinator South Carolina.
Who else?
You got Cornell Williams coaching running backs.
And that's Cadillac now. That's Cadillac Williams now.
He got retained. Then you got Cornelius Williams. So you got Cornell Williams and Cornelius Williams.
Cornelius Williams from Troy. Zach Etheridge from Troy.
Well, Williams is from Hoover. He played at Hoover High School. And then you've got a couple other coaches that were familiar names. I'm drawing blank on.
I'm looking it up.
But of course, you know.
But I'll say this: if Nick can go back anywhere close to where he was his freshman year, where he made good decisions and made quality big time throws and pressure, and we all know he can scramble and run. He's an athletic guy.
See, that's his problem though. He can't stay in the pocket like
he's got happy feet.
Happy feet. He's the best. He's the best indicator of happy feet I've ever seen.
Well, it's probably because somebody's coming after him because they're not being blocked. But here's the coaching staff. Brad Bedell is the tight ends coach. Mike Bobo, offensive coordinator. Nick Eason, defensive line coach. Zach Etheridge, cornerback coach.
Troy in the connection.
Will Friend, offensive line.
Played at Alabama.
Former offensive lineman at Alabama. Who?
Derek Mason, defense coordinator. Jeff Pittman, strength and conditioning. Jeff Smelding, inside linebackers and defensive running coordinator.
Yeah.
Burt Watts, Cornell Williams, Cornelius Williams, Brad Larondo, the associate.
Cornelius Williams, of course, from Troy University. Coached here last year and several years, played here. Played at Hoover.
There's a chance that, Coach Blakey might have made a call on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's Alabama's got 4 new analysts: Ron Cooper, Dave Huxtable, Will Lawing, and Mark Offrey. They have been added to the staff. That's Alabama's some of their personnel that they've hired in football as analysts.
I mean, everybody and their brother is just trying to go to Alabama and be an analyst. Isn't that crazy?
All right, I want to do this right now. We're straight up 8 o'clock. We'll be right back.
Oh, mercy.
Hang on.
We're
still on there.
Hello.
Hang on a minute.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Daddy, I'm right here. Hello, Miss Mary. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here. Thank you.
Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they said Jackson Satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson Satisfaction is real. We're back.
Back to our show, and he's Forrest Lee, and I'm Mike Amos, talking to Mike Amos, who's live from Grayton Beach, Florida. And Mike,
it's beautiful. It's beautiful outside.
How can you go on a diet when you're around such wonderful food?
Well, you know, I gave up fried food for Lent.
So for a religious thing, you gave up Lent, okay?
And then I gave up bread, and then a buddy was running his mouth, texting me saying he wanted to go on a weight loss challenge, so I took him up on it, and I'm kind of doing a modified Atkins / a little bit of fruit.
Yeah. All right, first of all, explain the Atkins. What can you eat with the Atkins diet?
Well, I mean, it's, you know, basically no carbs, so I mean, I could have an omelet.
Yeah, omelet's a perfect food for that diet.
Yeah, then I could go eat like a meat and three. I could go to Sisters and I could get squash, hamburger steak, or some kind of meat. You know, pork chop, grilled chicken, something like that. Then I could eat squash or green beans or eggplant or whatever kind of vegetable you want to eat. And then of course, any kind of salad I could do.
You could eat all the lettuce and tomato you wanted, couldn't you?
Yeah, some people are really strict on dressing on Atkins. I've never been that way. I still do dressing.
What, you go with a vinegar and oil, or what do you do?
No, I still do, you know, ranch or Thousand Island, whatever I want to do on that. But and then you know, it's just like every once in a while, you know, I'm doing it, which you're not supposed to do, but I'm doing a little fruit, doing a little strawberries or something I kind of call like a cheat. You know, you have a little bit of a cheat on Atkins. I also do a handful of peanuts or pecans every once in a while. But this works so far so good. I had a lot of weight to lose, so it's easy for me. But
how many pounds have you lost?
I've lost 13 right now. I'm hoping to lose by another 20. That's my goal. But it's a diet I've done many times, and you know, Bill Rice is on the show. He said he's done it many times too. I mean, it's one of those, if you don't stick to it, then you'll put it right back on.
Yeah, that's right. You're exactly right. If you could be like your sister,
the problem is drinking alcohol too as well. You know, wine.
Wait a minute. Now, you don't need to talk about that, do you?
Well, I mean, I think everybody knows I'm a wine rep. You know, I have to do wine tastings all the time, so I can be real snooty and spit in the cup. You know, some people don't drink the wine when they do tastings. They put it and kind of gargle it, and taste it, and then they put it in the little cup there. But unfortunately, I usually drink mine.
Oh man, what have I raised?
Let me tell you a story about.
I mean, that's what I do. I mean, you know, I have a company I work for down here, Debaco, imports, exports, and we're rocking and rolling down here right now. Spring break's been great so far.
Let me tell you a quick story about wine, if I can.
Yeah.
I was about 10, 11 years old, and I went down to Granddaddy's for, you know, watching them cook Christmas meal or early in the morning, and he and Grandmother were down there, and Aunt Dot and Mother were cooking, and he reached under the cupboard. He took a little old glass, and he put about that much muscadine wine in it.
Yeah,
about that
real sweet.
And he said, "Drink that, little boy, it'll grow hair on your arms." Well, it did, but I got a taste back then, just a little sampling. Yeah. It was pretty good, muscadine, homemade wine.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, I knew a little bit about wine before I took this job. I guess it's almost been over a year and a half now, but COVID, you know, slowed everybody's job down. But, I mean, these, you know, experts can drink some wine and they can taste pepper, they can taste the fruits, they can just, every little thing. And I'm like looking at the sheet, I have all the information. And these experts can just tell you right away what it is.
All right, what is the philosophy around rolling the wine around in your mouth?
Or the glass.
Well, I mean,
or the glass, yeah.
you know, these people are called somms. You know, they're wine experts, and they do just like a little bit of everything. They spin their glasses, they tilt the glass, and look at the color. They can do a little bit of everything. You know, sometimes I can't tell the difference in a good $15 bottle of wine, but sometimes the $100 bottle of wines, when we do tastings with that, you can instantly taste the difference.
Can you really?
It's like drinking like the greatest like drink you've ever had. I mean, it's just so perfect on your palate and your taste buds. I mean, it's incredible the difference.
The difference in a $100 wine compared to a $15 wine. Is that right?
Oh yeah, like I mean, you can see how people are just so huge wine enthusiasts. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I can see a person with a $100 bottle of wine just sitting out there on the porch, and just enjoying the day.
Well, when you're at a fine restaurant and you see these bottles, you can tell which one's got the $100 wine, which one's got the $15 wine. Is that right?
Oh yeah. But the markup's incredible. Like, say I sold a bottle of wine to a account down here. That wine by the glass. So that bottle of wine might cost them, I don't know, $8 or $9, $10. They're going to sell one glass of that wine for $12 to $13. So one glass pays for that bottle.
Yeah.
That's what people don't realize down here. The food they kind of lose money on in restaurants down here, or break even. But the alcohol sales, the spirits and the wine and the beer is where they make all the money.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm drinking Folgers coffee that I put some cream in it, and I believe it came from a cow in Wisconsin, and the sugar maybe from a sugar cane patch in Jamaica, man.
Of course, I'm a big coffee drinker. I've been drinking coffee ever since I was 5 years old, I believe. My mama allowed me to drink coffee with my milk.
See, we have a new AM/PM coffee bourbon out of Memphis, Tennessee, and it's called AM/PM, and everybody's putting it in coffee drinks down here.
Wow.
I mean, it's wonderful. It does great, but it's 86 proof.
Woo.
So that makes everybody's coffee a little different down here.
Exactly right. Well, it's interesting to find out about wines and so forth. And do you see more $100 bottle of wines, or do you see more $25 bottles of wine?
I mean, it's a wide variety. I mean, you've got accounts that have really, high-end wines and want to have stuff like, $100 bottles to sell. But then, they're going to have their by the glass, which is called BPG. Yeah. I tell you what I've really enjoyed, though, is we have a lot of wonderful Italian wines, in which, my owner has family vineyards in Italy. And
wow.
So we get a lot of stuff, sent in from Italy, and then we have a lot of great California wines as well, out of Napa Valley, which is one of the great areas, Napa Valley, Sonoma Valley, places like that. And then we have some really good wines, actually from Spain, with really cool labels and stuff like that. So it's been really interesting. I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it a lot more than I actually really thought I would. And my wife really, really enjoys it. Her friends really enjoy it. They get to try them all.
Have you been to the winery between Plattsburgh and 331? There's a vineyard and a winery there in Crenshaw County.
Yeah.
And have you heard of Corbin Winery?
Yeah, no, I know Corbin. That's Paul Outlaw's stepson, Matt.
Yeah,
Corbin.
I taught him. Yeah. Have you?
Yeah, Matt's a really good guy. I talked to Matt the other day, and he sent me a case through Paul, and we're trying to maybe get a few of his bottles down here. Hopefully, we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, he's married to a Shelton girl.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The State Farm guy, one of his daughters.
They have a winery that they run, and also has a restaurant in Calera, and they also have weddings and parties and all kinds of different events out there. So he's doing well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Matt Corbin.
Well, that is interesting to know a little bit about the wine business. I would like to say this.
Alabama wine's a little bit different tasting though than California or Oregon or other parts where it's more.
But you can tell a big difference in a $100 wine compared to a $25 wine.
Yeah, I mean, it just really depends on kind of, I guess, your expertise. I mean, a novice and somebody drinking wine, I mean, there's some really good $25 wines. I think the big difference is maybe when you get down to like the $10 and $15 compared to.
But that's by the glass, pretty much, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it just depends. You know, a lot of restaurants have by the glass a menu, and then they have the bottle menu. So the bottle menu is where you're going to spend a lot of money.
Exactly.
Michael, have you ever heard of the term bullets?
Bullets?
Yeah, like a bullet.
Yeah, you walk through the woods and you can smell something sweet. It's a wild type of grape. We call them bullaces.
Yeah, that's
they're
right.
Dark
Okay.
and they're real sweet. Sometimes they're golden.
Is that like a muscadine?
Kinda, I guess, but we've always called it a bullis.
And where I had to research that.
But most of these
in the country,
wines like that are real sweet. I mean, they're too sweet, in my opinion, you know. But,
Yeah, my town was interesting. You know, a couple of weeks ago, a group from Aspen, Colorado came into town, and everybody wants to distribute and find a vendor in Florida. So they're trying to do all they can to get their products in the market. And, you know, they're out of Aspen, and they have a distillery out there, and they brought in vodkas and bourbons and gingercellos, and they brought in a Moonlight espresso bourbon that everybody loved. But you just meet people from all over the country because Florida, out of all the states, never really shut down. You know, they've kind of been 100% open. So especially during COVID times, it's been high priority for everybody to try to get to Florida.
and then California, they've been shut down, haven't they?
Well, you know, California, we had a lot of issues with wildfires, and that's slowed production down a lot, and the number of cases we can get in. So that's been interesting.
Are y'all able to mail that? Didn't I see a law where people
everything's shipped on trucks.
And you can mail it on trucks. You can mail it to people.
Yeah, well, it's on pallets. No, it's all delivered through our warehouse, and then our warehouse distributes it.
Yeah, but can an individual order wine and it be delivered to their home? Hadn't I heard that?
We have that as an option. You can go away with it.
Okay. It's now 8:14. I hope you're doing well this morning on watching our show. Of course, we're right now coming to you on Facebook around the world, around the country, around the world on Facebook. We'll be back.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Daddy, I'm right here. Hello, Miss Mary. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here. Thank you.
Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
That's what Bill's trying to do.
We're back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, and it's brought to you by our friends at PS Fall Furniture in Enterprise. Mike, what do you first thing you think about when you walk into that store?
Well, I mean, I think about I really want to see Andy Falk. He's one of my oldest friends. He's a guy I really have had a lot of fun with over in life, going to concerts and ball games and just hanging out with. He's a great guy, and I hope everybody will support him. Of course, you know, he's had his business for so many years down in Enterprise, started over in Sampson, Geneva area where the Falks are from, and just an unbelievable teakwood, driftwood. I mean, he's got, unbelievable lamps, and he's got bedding, tables, couches, chairs.
At a very reasonable price.
Yeah, I mean, he goes overseas. I don't know if, he hadn't been able to go, I'm sure, because of COVID, but he's been to little villages in Indonesia and Vietnam and all kinds of other, countries to bring in unique items back. A lot of stuff gets shipped in, on big tankers. But some of the coolest stuff you can ever find. I love that store.
Yeah, it is a beautiful store. Of course, our show is brought to you also by our good friends at Troy Regional Medical Center, and of course, one of the best and finest local hospitals in Alabama. You'll find at Troy Regional Medical Center right here in Troy. And also to mention our good friends at Hook's Barbecue, and whoa, boy, what great barbecue you can find today at Hook's. And it's a little cool in there, and what I love their stew. I love their camp stew, and they've got it at a very reasonable price every day at Hook's Barbecue.
Yeah, what is it in Troy? So Troy is 50 degrees now, and it's going to be 72 and sunny later today.
Yeah, that's what's happening. And all right, like last night I was freezing.
When I go outside, I feel like I eat pollen.
Yeah.
Pollen is so
good. Well, let me tell you this. Last night, all right, in the afternoon around 3 o'clock, it was pretty warm. It was fairly warm. But then when I was at the baseball game last night, and it was cold as all get out. I mean, it was cold, and I got there around 6 o'clock, and it was cold on into the night. And this morning it was cold. But then wait till you get around 11 o'clock or 11:30, starts warming up. Mm-hmm. and so, if you like the cold weather to sleep at night, you got it. But hey, in the mornings, about mid-morning, you can start warming up.
Well, tonight at Riddle Pace Field, Troy baseball will host Sanford. First pitch 6 o'clock or 6:30.
And I'll be there. I will be there and looking forward to it.
And then they'll host Tulane this weekend. And isn't that where Big Stevens played, the lefty, Buford's son?
Yeah, no, he played in New Orleans.
He played in New Orleans. Okay. And then women's softball tomorrow will host Auburn.
Oh yeah, that's going to be fun.
That's tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And
that'll be a game that if you've got a daughter anywhere at all interested in softball, this is a must to do. To take her out and let her look at big time softball.
And they'll play. The women's softball team will travel to the University of Texas Arlington this weekend. But you got Sanford rolling in tonight in baseball, and then Wednesday night Auburn's rolling in to Troy.
All right, that's it. All right for softball. And again, with Tulane coming in, Mike, that's a good program. Tulane's a good baseball program, and that's going to be super. And I think you mentioned 4 games with
I think it's 3. I can look on my schedule.
All right, yeah.
But we're hosting Tulane.
Don't you have a doctor at the Lipland Crow Hill that played football at Tulane?
Oh yeah, the doctor. He sure did. He was a starting cornerback. Oh no, excuse me, safety at Tulane. Dr. How you pronounce his name?
Lugenberg?
What?
It's not Lugenberg, is it?
Yeah, Lugenberg.
Yeah. 3 games. First pitch this weekend against Tulane will be at 6 o'clock on Friday, 3 o'clock Saturday, and on Sunday, 1 o'clock.
3 o'clock on Saturday.
And then next week, Alabama comes to Pace River Field.
On a Tuesday night, is that right?
On a Tuesday night.
I think that's Tuesday night game.
Well, let's beat Sanford tonight.
That would be a huge crowd, I would think, if they'll let people go to games. I don't know how many people they let go to games.
Exactly right. I was so proud last night.
I saw where the Cubs are going to have 8,500 fans to start the season. So at least we'll have some fans. That's nice to see.
Mm-hmm. Hey, one thing I do want to mention, Mike, we mentioned this to your dad earlier. Steve Hale, he was for 19 years the CEO and president of the Senior Bowl in Mobile, and he passed away suddenly.
How old did you say he was?
He was 64 years old.
64. I knew Steve.
He went in cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
He coached under Pat Dye at East Carolina, Bear Bryant, and Ray Perkins at Alabama. And he coached with Danny Ford when Clemson won the national championship in 1981.
Yeah.
He also coached at Louisiana Lafayette in southern Mississippi. So our thoughts, prayers for his family.
Good-looking guy. Just you would have never
Steve
known
Hale.
that he had that problem. And of course, again, let me just say this. I could get a little emotional saying this, but I had a very dear friend that died of a heart attack a few years back, and I would have never guessed that he had any kind of heart disease or he was just fit. He was just fit, and he worked out, and he walked, and he ran, and he went to the spa and or worked out at the gym over and over. But it's something I did discuss with him. I said, hey, your parents, there's heart disease in your
heritage, lineage, family,
in your lineage and whatever. There's definitely heart disease in your family, and you need to see a doctor periodically and get on a regimen of his care, a doctor's care, and start being concerned about your appetite and your things that you eat that are not good for you. Well, I think evidently he didn't listen to me because again he ended up dying of a heart attack, and I've missed him every day, and I think about him every day. And
well, I mean, it's all about heredity,
Yeah, exactly right.
Some people jog 6 or 7 miles a day, but it's just unfortunately, they're born with it, I guess. The family trait.
Exactly right, and that's why we need to get across to people is that hey, you might can look the part, and everybody wants to work out and wants to run and walk and stay in good shape, but hey, you need to, if you've got heart disease in your family, you need to see a doctor, be under a doctor's care, and see a doctor at least twice a year or more to make sure everything's working out the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I've been reading up on different, diets, and the Mediterranean diet's a really good diet. The Greeks live longer than anybody, I think, in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically all what they eat. It's definitely one of those type things. I think the lifespan of the average American, I think a female is 70, 78, 79 years old. And
that's pretty good, isn't it?
77, I think.
Male is 77 on average?
I think so.
That's amazing. Of course, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks. Nobody beats the Premier deal.
Hey, just on a side note, today is National Crab Meat Day.
Oh boy!
Meatball Day, National Meatball Day, and it's also
in good shape, the crab meat down here.
And it's also Get Over It Day.
Yeah,
National just
exactly
get over
right.
It.
Over the years,
when I walk sometimes, we're real close to the beach and real close to the sand dunes over here. And a lot of times I'll see crab walk in front of me as I'm walking.
Yeah. But the thing about that crab meat, and I've been around it all for years and years, and boiling crabs, and is actually trying to peel that crab or get the meat out of that crab is a lot different, a lot different than it looks. It is not easy to get enough crab meat to have a meal. It takes a lot of crab meat.
It's more of the crawfish that it's hard to get anything out of. I don't know how people get into crawfish bowls. I just never have enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, they say if you don't suck the heads, you don't get the good part of it.
we have a crawfish. There's an AJ, the famous bar out of Destin. There's an AJ's Great Beach, and they do crawfish bowls every Saturday and Sunday now. And people are just lined up. There's just packed full of people, and I love the sausage and the potatoes and the corn that are in it as well. So a lot of times we get a big crawfish balls, and that's all I would eat. I wouldn't even mess with the crawfish.
Oh man! And of course, again, the secret is sucking the head, And I'm not big at it.
Well, what can I say? I like chitlins, fried and boiled, but I hadn't had them since Mary Finley was at the Country Kitchen restaurant. They used to have them in the winter, I believe on Tuesday nights, maybe Thursday nights.
Of course, I've had of course, the way I look at it, when you eat shrimp, why in the world do you want to eat crawfish?
That's true. When you go to Dusty's and order a pound of fried butterfly shrimp, and then if you're going to do that, I mean, I love crab claws. Those are my favorite.
Yeah.
I didn't eat my first crab claw till I was in graduate school at the University of South Alabama. Wenzel's had a place next to the university.
Yeah.
Oh, and I fell in love with.
Yeah. Well, I always heard this for years and years. Wouldn't you hate to be the first guy that ever ate an oyster on the half shell?
Oh yeah.
Why would anybody want to eat that? But
I just can't get into oysters.
Guilty.
I used to eat a lot of them, but not much anymore. They got to be baked for me.
Well, and baked oysters now are really, really good. And Mike's diner down at the beach, they've got as good a baked oysters as you'll find. So if you go down